Am I the asshole for giving my wife a dirty plate to eat off of at dinner? My wife is a nurse, and she works long hours, therefore, I handle everything in the household. She has been picking up more shifts recently because the hospital is understaffed. I am the one doing the chores, taking care of the kids, making food, and I also work. It's all me. She has one chore, and that is when she comes home, she needs to do the dishes. The kids are usually asleep by the time she gets home, so I usually make dinner for the kids and wait until she gets home to reheat the food for her. The main issue is that she has not been cleaning the dishes. I have talked to her multiple times, but nothing has changed. She gets home, eats, and goes right to bed. She always claims she is too tired after her shift to do the dishes, and when I suggest she does them in the morning, she claims there is not enough time before she needs to get to work. It is extremely frustrating to wake up and they are not done. That leads to me having to do the dishes at some point. We talking about this again last Saturday and she has not done the dishes since 4 days of not doing them, and I have not done them either. I have ran out of dishes and served dinner to the kids on paper plates Tonggit. She got home after the kids were asleep and I handed her a dirty plate to eat off of. I told her that she can use that to reheat the food. We was not happy and we got into an argument. She called me a dick for handing her a dirty plate to eat off of and that I was home so I would have cleaned some dishes. I pointed out that this is her job and I am not going it. That if she want clean the dishes then she can eat off a dirty plate. She is calling me a jerk. I told my sister of the situation and she said I am being petty. I don't think I am. Edit. Because people have continued to ask. I work in construction 40-50 hours. She works in the hospital 36-60. Highly dependent on what is happening at the hospital, if she picks up more shifts or not. 36 is her normal and she depending on the week if she grabs 1-2 extra shifts. Not the asshole and I probably will be downvoted for this. Never mind, she has one chore, you're doing everything else, including raising kids, and all she needs to do is wash the dishes. If you have a dishwasher that is literally 10 minutes, you have one, in comment, even without a dishwasher it is like 30 minutes. You might as well be a single parent, you're not even a SAHP, since you also work. You work in construction, comment, it's not like you have an easy job either. Wild because if Op was the wife who handed her husband a dirty dish after he refused to do the one household chore she has, people would be telling her to divorce him. Op works, takes care of the home, cooks and cares for the children. He asks for one chore to be done by his wife and when she want to he should just roll over and do it. In Ta, I honestly think it's crazy that if Assam posted this from her perspective everyone would be saying he's lazy for not doing one thing while you do everything else, but here everyone is calling you the asshole even though you do everything and she literally has one chore to do. I was originally leaning towards everyone sucks, but I read this to my significant other who is also a nurse and he said not the asshole before I got halfway through. Even working 12-13 hours a shift he has time to do the dishes or other small chores. Also, they can't force your wife to work. She's choosing this and it seems like maybe there is more at play with this complete level of disengagement. Is she even seeing the kids? Is the extra money truly so necessary that it's worth the strife? I don't understand why you're doing everything on a regular basis anyway. You both need to have a serious talk because the real problem is something else, not this issue with the dishes. She has one chore and she can't do it. That's just messed up. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. If this was the other way around and it was a woman asking a man to do the dishes people would berate him. To be a part of a household is to help within that home. Am I the asshole for letting my nephew and his girlfriend move in with me against my sister's wishes? I 30 male have a 3-bedroom place, just my fiancé and I. We have the space and neither of us want children anytime soon. My nephew 18 male got himself in a predicament where he impregnated his GF17. His girlfriend was kicked out of her home for it, and my sister, my nephew's mother, wouldn't let her move in, which resulted my nephew asking if they could stay with me. They are both graduating this month. I had received a message from my sister saying that my nephew was packing and planning to ask me to move in, and told me to say no. She didn't want them living together this young and she said she had her own reasoning as well. I didn't see why not. My nephew was willing to step up as a father as he should, and asked me if I could give him a job. I have a small business. He even offered me rent. I own my house. I let them move in, contacted the girlfriend family as well and they didn't care, didn't seem like two kind of people, which resulted in my sister being very upset with me. I asked her what she expected me to do. I wasn't going to have them bouncing around hotel rooms with barely any money and struggling when I have a perfectly fine place with a room. My sister said that if I allowed them to stay she would no longer talk to me, and that she was showing him that these adult actions have adult consequences. I argued back that he was taking accountability for these adults' actions and there was nothing wrong with a little bit of help. She called me an awe and said I betrayed her and am ignoring her wishes as a parent. She said that I shouldn't even have a say because I don't know how it is because I'm not a parent and obviously know nothing about being one. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. You aren't giving him a reward or a free ride. You're giving him the tools to step up and become a responsible provider, partner and parent, and you are role modeling compassion and hard work. It might not work out, but it is kind of you to give them a chance, and not at all an asshole thing to do. Your sister wants to punish him, but he's already given himself a natural consequence that was unplanned, and has enough challenges without making more, so she is not being at all supportive or compassionate towards her own child. That's a great shame, and will damage their relationship rather than teaching him anything useful. Not the asshole. Seriously. Not the asshole. You are a super uncle. First off, your nephew at 18 is an adult and your sister needs to deal with the reality that she doesn't get to decide his actions anymore. Your nephew stepping up and choosing to be a responsible adult who doesn't ditch his girlfriend is an act of integrity, and very much kudos to you for helping him like family should. This isn't a parenting anymore. This is adults handling their business. Not the asshole. She prefers the young lady who is carrying her grandchild be homeless. He's 18. You made a bold call to go against her wishes, but I see why you did it. You're not the asshole. She was showing him that these adult actions have adult consequences. And now she is facing the consequences of her actions. Not the asshole. There is a clear difference between teaching someone about consequences and destroying someone's life as punishment. Her wishes as parent ended when he turned 18. He's an adult, free to make his own choices. He can listen to his mom's advice but doesn't have to follow it. You're right to offer help. Part of being an adult is owning up to one's actions and having the courage to ask for help. Both things your nephew is doing. Honestly, if I was his parent, I'd be disappointed, of course, in him getting a girl pregnant so young, but proud of him for owning up to what he did and asking for help. You're not giving him a handout. You're just giving him a little push forward in the right direction. Would I be the asshole if I refused to change my diet for my mom's birthday? My mom's asking me to go vegetarian or at least stop eating red meat for 30 days as a birthday gift. She's been vegan for years and I've never had an issue with it. I try things she makes and a lot of the food is good. She decided to go vegan for moral reasons, and later also for her health since things had come up that required the diet change anyway, so it was great timing for her. However, in the very beginning, when I was a teenager, she was extremely pushy about me giving up animal products and would try to get me to feel guilt for eating animal products from watching videos of how they're slaughtered. This didn't go well and we butted heads a lot. Years later, I'm an adult now and we have stopped the fights over it and we live our lives the way we want. I'm not the kind of person who eats meat every day for every single meal, but it is part of my preferred diet. She would make comments here and there that would insinuate her trying to encourage to give up meat if a specific meal didn't agree with me or simply me just expressing how much I prefer fish over any other meat. I feel this might be a touchy subject for me because of her pushy behavior in the past and I immediately want to reject the request, but now I am feeling guilty. It's not necessarily a difficult task but it would take a lot of mindfulness on my part, changing how I grocery shop and deny certain things I would otherwise enjoy. I personally don't think this is a fair request because she is essentially trying to control what I eat and knowing my mother, this is her buy-in to try to get me to stop meat entirely and will severely disappoint her in the end that I don't change my mind about eating meat, which will cause tension. Would I be the asshole if I refuse this request? Edit, update. To answer a few questions, no, I don't live with my mom anymore. I have been living on my own for a while now. No, my mom isn't some crazy vegan who calls everyone animal abusers. She is just super passionate about it and can have her extreme moments sometimes, but we have a fairly good relationship otherwise and I love my mom, so please be respectful with your comments about her. I did try to be vegan for a short time for health concerns at the suggestion of my mother when I was constantly having stomach issues, and I had a really hard time with it. I know I don't need to eat meat every day all day and I don't, but that doesn't mean I want to give up the foods that I like to indulge in every so often. Especially since my experience trying to be vegan was not positive. I was micromanaging every little thing I ate and had so much trouble finding things within my budget and my schedule that I wasn't getting the proper nutrients I needed. I became tired and irritable all the time and it felt like my health was worse. Again, I probably didn't do it correctly, but I just did not have it in me to keep trying. I had other shit going on and this was not something I felt worked for me. Of course my mom was upset saying she didn't think I gave it a good chance. I had done this for nearly 2 months. And I was just making excuses cause I wanted to eat meat. I didn't care and she eventually got over it. For those wondering, I got tested for a lot of shit and was able to figure out certain allergies and intolerance I have, which helped me make adjustments in my daily life and am better, healthier. For the update, there really isn't much to say. She tried to convince my sister of this too and bickered a bit about it as my mom wasn't happy with her initial no before my sister agreed to eating just white meat for a bit since she is on her health diet anyway. But she is also not opposed to just lying to her if she slips up. My sister and I joked about it a bit as we understand our mom can be a bit dramatic sometimes. I however told my mom bluntly I wasn't interested in making this change and was an unfair request on her part. I said my response to her after she talked to my sister, so I never got a reply back. We haven't seen or talked to each other yet since both are busy, but I'm going to assume she's moved on since she already went back and forth with my sister. I am sticking by my decision and don't expect her to push further, but we will see. Thanks everyone for your input on this matter. Not the asshole. Ask her if she's be willing to eat meat and fish for an entire month as a birthday gift to you up. Bet you anything she say no, so why does she think it's appropriate to do it the other way? I would tell her if she gets to ask you not to eat meat for her birthday, you get to ask her to eat meat for yours. Then watch her try to explain why she gets to do it but you can't. Not the asshole. Let me control your behavior for 30 days is a weird request. Like, is she going to check in on you every meal? That sounds overbearing and annoying AF. Not the asshole. Not only is that request a stupid as fuck birthday gift, it is really just a control move by her to control your diet. If you were to do it, it would forever be the example she brings up whenever she tries to get you to go vegan. Something it didn't kill you, did it? Tell her that's not on the table as a possible birthday gift, but she can have flowers or chocolates. Not the asshole. This is bizarre. Would she eat meat for 30 days as a birthday present to you? Not the asshole. If you do this, she will realistically guilt trip you after the 30 days are up. This is an inappropriate request. I've got a great gift idea. Buy something for her that donates 100% of profits for meals to those in need. Wear the piece, or just donate directly somewhere. Instead of intruding on your diet, help people who lack food. And if she complains about that, she needs to get her priorities straight. Am I the asshole for not letting a large group of kids use the restroom during a party? I had reserved a large area of our local park that has a pavilion, restrooms and tables. Our local park is pretty big with several areas that have restroom options. There were 2 other restrooms within 50 yards from the pavilion I had reserved. We had a large party going on and there was a large group of people with a bunch of kids that chose to gather in the area directly beside us. They would have to enter our party to use these specific bathrooms, and when they started coming in I asked them to use the other restrooms available. They got angry and were yelling about having to use the other restrooms and saying I was a bad person for not allowing the kids in. I ignored them at this point, but they began yelling louder. At this point I stated again they could use the other restrooms available, and if they kept coming in I would call the parks department. Mind you, there were around 20 kids trying to come in and use the bathroom. So, am I the asshole here? Q. Were the other restrooms also in pavilions that could be reserved by others? Q. Did the reservation contract explicitly state that you were reserving exclusive use of the restrooms within that pavilion? There were other restrooms available and it was a private party. They should have chosen to show the kids how adults handle this, not act like children themselves. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You reserved the space which included the restrooms and you had every right to ask people not part of your event to use the public restrooms nearby. There were other options just a short distance away, so it is not like you were blocking access entirely. It makes sense that you did not want a group of 20 kids walking through your party. Their parents or guardians should have planned better if they knew they would be near a reserved space. You were not being unreasonable. Reserving the area means reserving the bathrooms too, not your fault they showed up unprepared. Not the asshole they were trying to join your party and were upset when you rejected them. That is not your problem. People are so entitled. I recently stayed at a crowded campsite where we paid extra to get a waterfront spot. Somebody drove up, walked directly through our camp, and started setting up on the shore with 2 kids and 2 dogs. When I told them it was a private campsite, clearly marked, and pointed out the public access, they told me they were just checking it out, and were acting offended that I told them to leave. It's not unreasonable at all to kick people out of a location that you paid for. Hopefully they learned a lesson about invading other people's space.